How you guys doing, YouTube? This is my first video. Um, Let me just say, let me get this straight here. It's not. This is all not going to be edited. Well, maybe a little bit of it, but this channel is going to be about veterans and homelessness. Um, and I'm going to be interviewing or trying to find these vets and just regular homeless people and trying to get their story. Because myself, I'll tell you, and again, 100%, almost 100, pretty much 100% of the money I get, if I get anything from YouTube, will be going to these people that I am interviewing. Mostly the vets that need it, because I'll tell you my story. Me, myself, my background, I was homeless when I was 16. Actually, I was homeless twice. So when I was 16, I was homeless. Finished high school. Did a little bit, got a job, got a full-time job. Actually, got out of homelessness. Got an apartment with someone I knew in college, and then pretty much from there, kind of got on my feet a little bit. What was the issue was that I couldn't afford college, so my step was to join the Marine Corps. So I joined the Marine Corps, and did my 5 years, 2 deployments, both combat. I was in 3-4 Weapons Company. If anybody knows about anything, 3-4 is the most deployed unit in the Marine Corps. They're only activated in time of war. So their signature is DARKSIDE. And I think they got deactivated like a year after I got out. So everybody was like split to like 2-7, 3-7, just different units. But anyways, saw my fair share of stuff. This is hard to say, but I was diagnosed with PTSD. I got injured in Afghanistan, so my right leg's all messed up. I have a C7, C5 injury because there was an IED explosion. I have an ITB. So I have a couple injuries, and I've lost my fair share of friends. And I like to shout out to Paul Zanwick. Hopefully I can do right by him. He was a good friend of mine. But anyways, I got out of the Marine Corps. Actually didn't apply for disability. So this is the thing with the Marine Corps. It is frowned upon to claim PTSD or any injury. So I would say almost 100% of them do not claim anything because you have to claim it in chain of command. So you tell you're pretty much someone that's been training you your whole life that you have PTSD, and it's pretty much frowned upon. So you have to tell him, and then he has to tell his next chain of command. So they end up parading you around as if you're like really weak or whatever. So the kind of comments when you do the interview with the command is like, oh, are you weak-minded? Or is there something wrong with your brain? So I would say a lot of, if it's happening in my generation, and definitely happened in the other generations because it was much rougher. That's why out of the homeless people, there's 22% of them are homeless. Even in my unit, let me finish my story. Anyways, I got out of the Marine Corps. I used my disability, not my disability, my GI Bill to go to become a helicopter pilot. Became a helicopter pilot, got turbine time, Bell 206 time, became an instructor, and was teaching a little bit. I had an PTSD episode, and unfortunately, I can't pass the medical part of flying anymore, so I can't fly anymore. So I lost my job. Some other sad shit happened, but I'm not going to go into it. But I ended up I had a wife, and she did some shady stuff, and I ended up homeless because I didn't have disability, had no money. I was in my car, homeless pretty much. So I was homeless for about a year and a half, kind of giving up until a couple of my friends were just like, if anybody deserves the disability, you deserve it the most. And I said, well, I don't know. There's something inside me that just didn't want to go to the hospital, and I would say that is like 100% of the military that happens to. But I ended up going. I ended up getting 100%. So I got back on my feet. Now I have a new girlfriend. I got a baby. I'm seeing therapists and stuff, and I'm getting help and stuff, and now I feel like I'm in a little bit better place to try to help other people, because I've been in their shoes. I know the background of the story. I know that there's, some people aren't homeless for sometimes they're not homeless for a reason. 22% of the homeless population is veterans. And a lot of people don't understand why. Oh, why don't they get help? It's like, well, you don't know the background of the story. You don't know how they're bred, and honestly, it's a very vicious cycle, because if you do drugs or anything, the VA will not help you. If you do drugs and you come and you're like, oh, I'm injured, they will say it's associated to the drugs, and they'll just kick you away, and they won't give you your disability. So it's a vicious cycle, because I know even a close friend of mine, a Marine, before I got out, he did I think 8 years, and he did like 4 deployments, and he was like one of the best Marines I ever known. Like, still, works out all the time, goes to gym, like dedicated. And he happened to do marijuana. And the last month he was gonna get out, and he got popped, and he got this other than honorable, so he can't get his disability. So now he's pretty much homeless, and he served his country very well. And the only reason he did marijuana is because he didn't want to take the medication they were giving him. They were pumping him with so much of like tramadol, like all this crazy stuff that made him feel like just not the same. And it's sad. It's not like he was a bad person. He was a very good person. He was self-medicating. That's another thing. Marines self-medicate. And another big thing too is that people don't know is that in the Marine Corps, if you go to the Marine Corps, you will do more hard drugs in the Marine Corps than you ever done in your life outside, because the fact that they drug test, and hard drugs don't stay in your system long enough for them to pop. So what do? They do other drugs. That's why spice was so rampant in the Marine Corps at one time, and some other hard drugs I won't tell you, but I'll just say it's just very sad. And people don't see that. The Marine Corps doesn't want to show you that side of the story. But the Marine Corps is good. Don't get me wrong. I love the Marine Corps. I don't regret it. They instilled discipline and motivation in me. And they do in a lot of people. But when you go to war, they are not equipped to help the ones that go to war. The ones that don't go to war, they get out of the Marine Corps and they get a great job, and they're great. They train them well. They're motivated, yada yada. But the ones that go to war and they have to kill or see someone die or see a lot of their friends die, I have firsthand experience it myself, so I know how it is, and I know that it is something that it's like no matter if you get help inside you feel like you don't deserve it, or you don't want to seek help, or for whatever reason you just, I don't know, you make excuses. I don't know, it's just very weird, and it's not just me, it's a lot of veterans that have been in, you'll see it in the ones that have been in combat. The ones that haven't been to combat, you rarely see them on the street. It's the ones that have seen combat. They have brain issues that have developed over the years that have not been treated, especially the older ones. You see the younger ones that have the issues, and they slowly will develop it over the years. And it's something I want to put into light because it's a real thing, So You know, I might start off with just some homeless people. I have some cash. I'm gonna give them. Um, you know, I know a lot of people say don't give them cash, but honestly, I've been homeless before, and I hated when people give me food and shit because I got food all the time. I wanted cash so I could not spend. I wasn't, never did drugs, so I wanted to spend it on things I needed, like toothbrush, toothpaste, things that I didn't want, that I needed, that I need to spend cash on. You know, like I needed toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, stuff like that. You know, if I'm a very good judge of character if they're gonna do drugs or not, or if they are drug users. But even if they are, I'm gonna find out their backstory and see exactly what's going on, and just evaluate from there and see if I'm gonna buy them food or if I'm gonna give them cash or buy them clothes or something warm. You know, because it's pretty cold out. I don't know if you can see, it's it's raining. I mean, not really raining, but it's very mucky. So, all right. So, I'm going to, I'm going to, I'm gonna go drive around some areas that I know. I'm not too sure if they'll be out today because there's a lot of. I mean, you can see one right now. I mean, he's standing right there right now. But honestly, this is my area. I know this area very well, and I know who kind of does what. So he kind of does drugs. But let's go to some safe areas later on in my later videos. We'll go more sketchier areas because I'm getting some. It's California, so I'm getting some permits for some weapons and stuff to carry around for these videos. Um, I got special connections for that, but right now I'm gonna go to a non-sketchy area just for my safety because I'm gonna have quite a lot of cash on me and I'm gonna have a video camera on me, so I don't want to get mugged or anything. So, anyways, let's hope this channel works. I do want to help a lot of vets that are homeless. Hopefully, I can make this channel better and better for you guys and make videos and do interviews for the homeless. Any money I get from this channel, I'm gonna give back to them. So, and especially if you guys have a specific person, maybe that you guys like, I'll you know, if the channel does really well, then you know, get him clothes, get him place, get him for 4 months, you know, place for 4 months, try to get him a job, clean him up, you know, try to get him on his feet, you know, and see what happens, and get him help from the VA and all that stuff, because I know all the channels for the VA now, because I've had to go through it. I'm still going through it because I'm sick, I guess. I have an immune issue. You know, I'm losing bone mass, and I guess some of my organs might fail and stuff like that. But they're trying to figure out why. I did a CAT scan yesterday, and I've been doing blood tests for the last year or so, and scans and X-rays and all this shit. But anyways, hopefully I can help someone that needs my help, because I wish someone would have helped me when. I mean, I did. My Marine friends did. So, you know, I have brothers and sisters out there, so I need to help them. But if I don't find any vets, I will talk to some homeless people, see if they know anybody, or just talk about their story, because some people have good stories, you know. Oh, put it better for you. Some people have good stories out there, and you know, sometimes you're not homeless. You know, you could have no mother and father, and you know, go foster and have been abused, and you know, maybe you were forced drugs. I know some people that were forced drugs when they're younger from their parents, because their parents did drugs, you know. So it's kind of hard. It's like you kind of do what your parents do. If your parents tell you to dress and look good and go to church and everything, what do? You go to church and you dress nice. If your parents said to, you know, take a hit of this, you would take a hit of it. Like, that's it. It's a sad story, but it happens. And you know, for kids, they can't control that. at that point, it's like food for them. You know, it's as much as food. So, but anyways, let's see what we can get, and hopefully we'll get someone. Boop. Bye.